Today, I'm gonna take you to southern Utah, down to one of my favorite habitats in all of wildlife. It's a wetland. Now, this is not just any ordinary wetland, this is actually in the middle of a desert. What that means is all the amphibians from all around come right into this spot. It's a total hotspot for amphibians and reptiles. So with any luck, we're gonna be catching tons of amazing creatures. Hear that? Those are spadfots. As well as being home to the largest land-dwelling salamander in the entire world, this wetland is going to be home to many other amphibians as well. I'm Isaac Prince, and we're going to take you to the wetland. Bam. Down in southern Utah, we just had a humongous rain that just barely rolled in. It's been going for 2 days strong, and I bet you can already hear those are some chorus tree frogs all around us. We're gonna get right to catching those. But we just had a monsoon rain, and it's obviously monsoon season. So if you look right here, we've got a bunch of these puddles. So this is obviously a complete overflow. Down in southern Utah, in this desert area, flash floods are extremely common. Water doesn't quite seep into the sand very fast, so it shoots right over. Now, because of this actually gives amphibians even more rain, more land, so they can cover, spread, and find insects on. Let's go right into the wetland. Here, we've got a little pond. My mouth. This is one of the I'm so stoked, guys. This is one of the greatest things we've ever come across. One of the rarest for sure. Now, I'm not sure if it's an eastern or western, but we've come across a spadfoot toad. Now look at how cute he is. Big eyes. He's got one of the coolest sounds. You can actually hear him. It's more of a wah. Whoa. It's more of a wah, wah. It kind of sounds spatty, you know, like kind of cheeky. Look at that. Look how small and cute he is. Look at it. So this is about as big as it's gonna get. Come here, buddy. This is about as big as it's gonna get. I'm gonna have to hold it a little bit different. This is about as big as this spadfoot's gonna get. Definitely one of the coolest things you can come across here in the desert. I've never come across one in St. George. What a beautiful little animal. Now you might be wondering, what does this little fella eat? And also, what eats it? Now this doesn't hurt him. This is actually one of the safest positions you can hold him in. Now this guy is eating all sorts of little flies, mosquitoes, worms, crickets, and even tadpoles have come across. Now, he is going to be a little bit more on land, obviously, because he's a toad. However, this is one of the more frog-looking toads. As you can see, his skin isn't as dry and bumpy and coarse. I found him in the water. If you listen real closely, you can hear them in the background. Don't listen for the ribbit, listen for the wah, wah. Hear that? Those are spadfots. They're calling for their feet. Oh, come here, buddy. They're calling for their females. Now, I'm gonna let this little guy go because my hands are drying out and I don't want to hurt his skin. But what an amazing find. One of the many jewels of the desert. And of course, one of the jewels of the wetland, the spadfoot toad. As I've been telling you guys, all around you guys can hear it. Those chorus tree frogs. Now, something you gotta understand about these guys is the males, like most frog species, are itty bitty. The females are much bigger and stronger. So what I've caught for you guys is a little male with a big throat. Check this beauty out. Let's get this little cutie out. Here we've got a chorus tree frog, a male. I don't know if you guys can tell, but their throat is almost like, it's got wrinkles because their throat, whoomp, goes all the way out and it looks amazing. Now, one really interesting fact about these chorus tree frogs is that these are actually the frogs responsible for the very iconic ribbit sound. You guys can hear it all in the background. These guys range all the way from the California Pacific coastline, and that's where they get their name, Pacific tree frog. These guys are the inspiration for Hollywood to make the ribbit sound in all their movies. we know that such a little frog has such a big impact. You can also see why they're called tree frogs, because of their little toe pads. Those allow them to stick to the cattails and all the other reeds in the water and hold on while mating and while jumping around to catch prey. Very iconic little frog, responsible for so many amazing movies. Awesome little guy. Let's let him go. This is a treasured moment in this chorus tree frog's life. As you can see, we've got a male and a female, and they're making some babies. Look how amazing that is. You can hear them all around. Super cool moment in nature. We found a female chorus tree frog. As you can see, this one is just a little bit bigger. That is exactly what they look like. Such a cool little find. Such a cool little find. As you can hear, they're everywhere. Oh, there he goes. There she goes. Right there. This is where we'll let this little frog depart. Can you hear that? That like that long almost siren sound. That is the wood house's toad. Now this toad, one of the most near and dear to my heart. When I was just a young kid, I would go with my dad, and we would catch these toads all night. It was one of my favorite and most fond memories of my childhood. This toad, every time you catch it, you are not catching a toad if you don't catch it and it pees on you. That is the staple. Now, one of the things that's very remarkable about these toads is actually how toxic they are. Now, if you look up closely, you can actually see little glands right here kind of on his body. Those are parotid glands. So those are actually what houses all the poison in their body. However, they can excrete it throughout their entire body. Their pee, in particular, is very toxic. You do not want to touch your face, put your fingers inside your mouth when handling a toad. Very, very, very dangerous. You can get sick, you can get injured. Now, by the way, me holding this right now poses no danger to not me or the animal. I'm gonna wash my hands very nicely, and my hands are wet, and so this toad and his skin is not being harmed. If you can tell, the toad has way more bumpy skin than the spadfoot, and that's what I was trying to say, is these kind of toads, more common toads, way, way, way more bumpy skin, way more recognizable. Probably one of the most common toads you're gonna see across the United States, and by far one of the coolest. He's not even full grown. He's gonna get as big as my hand. He's gonna be, oh, and by the way, these toads, these guys are eating worms, grubs, grasshoppers. On occasion, they'll even eat young little toads, young little frogs. These guys are eating all sorts of things that can fit in their mouth. Whack! They got it. What an amazing, amazing little amphibian. One of my favorite personal amphibians from my childhood. I used to catch these things like no one, dude. So grateful we could have caught this amazing animal. Let's let him go. There you go, buddy. Right in the water. Oh, he disappeared.